What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the trading world. For a lot of people, today was pretty tough, but I'm going to be breaking down price action, so hopefully it makes complete sense why price moved the way that it did. We have trades from all kinds of different people today. We have trades from Hydra, a trade from Dodgy, trades from a few other people as well. And I'm going to be breaking down price action, so hopefully it makes complete sense. If you guys are new to my channel, I cover how to trade futures contracts, specifically on the NASDAQ for the morning session. If you guys like this type of content, definitely consider subscribing, leaving a like, following me on Twitter, and checking out my completely free Discord. The link to that is in my bio. Let's jump into the market. So, today, it was tough because it looks like we're ready to expand higher, right? You can see we have all these low resistance highs, and then all of a sudden, psych. We dump down, and we fill the rest of this overnight gap. Now, if you guys don't know, these overnight gaps love to be filled, and they are excellent draws on liquidity. And it's very nice to have them to pay attention to, because this is a lot of the time going to be the draw on liquidity. And so you can see going into the morning, we dump down to go fill this overnight gap, and that was the draw on liquidity. And as well, if you know here, you can see we actually have a tiny new day opening gap, and that was untapped as well. So the market's leaving a subtle hint that it's not done with this, because we didn't even touch this. And this is a pretty strong draw on liquidity, this new day opening gap here. So the market comes back down. Once again, at first glance, it looks like we're ready to expand to go run these highs here. But guys, pay attention to where the liquidity is, right? We take out most of the volume in this consolidation, right? We take most of that out. So it doesn't need to keep going higher, because the true draw on liquidity was to go take out that new day opening gap. So the way that I have this framed is I saw this as accumulation, manipulation above these highs here, and then distribution. And the cool thing about this is, if I click this here, you can see that the 10 a.m. candle closes right here. And so if you think about it in terms of anticipating the next 10 a.m. candle, well, this 10 a.m. candle closes. If I go to the higher time frame chart here, this 10 a.m. candle closes with a really nice 4-hour change in state of delivery. So you can see this is not the 10 a.m. The 6 a.m. candle closes, forming this nice change in state of delivery with a sweep. So if we go to the lower time frame and zoom in, so you can see 6 a.m. candle closes here. We manipulate up into this change state delivery. Once again, this white line is that higher time frame change state delivery, and then we distribute lower. So once again, higher time frame, accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. And the cool thing is, we actually do have a huge SMT with London's highs. And also, you'll know our time levels, right? When we're above 9:30, when we're above 8:30, that's when we're typically expecting the manipulation to occur. And so then anyway, we distribute lower, and there are lots of ways to take this trade. The first way I'm going to talk about is from Hydra. Now, personally, I would not have taken it like this, because this is a 3-minute external gap, but I'm noting that you could take it like this because this inverses, and once again, understanding that this is a higher time frame accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution lower could give you conviction to take this. But like I was saying, that wasn't the only trade you could have taken. there was a really nice inversion here that a lot of people took. You can see this happens in 3 candles where you get a move lower, sweeping out all these lows, and an inversion back up. And Camel takes this one. He says, see you tomorrow. Now he has it shown on the 30-second, but this was a 1-minute inversion as well. And yeah, very clear accumulation, manipulation, and then distribution. And the other beautiful thing about this trade that was really, really nice is this had SMT. We have SMT with this low here. So if I go pull up S&P, you can see we have a low, a higher low, and here we have a low, a lower low. So beautiful SMT, accumulation, manipulation with SMT. And then we get this beautiful 3-candle inversion to go target these equal highs here. So this would be about a 1. I'd probably take it as like a 1 point, like, yeah, just like a 1R here. Very nice. We're also delivering from a BPR, so that's pretty cool. And let's see. Like I said, this was higher time frame, accumulation, manipulation, distribution. A lot of people, so you can see Dodgy took a loss. A lot of people were upset at Dodgy for this, right? People were saying, hey, what Dodgy, like I don't know. They're just, people up in his Discord were upset. And he talks about it here. Today was the first day I've taken a loss on stream in a while, and I'm getting bashed by everyone all of a sudden, so that's interesting. But, like, guys, losses are a part of trading. Personally, though, I don't know if I would take that trade that Dodgy took. Anyway, let's keep moving on. Let's look at some more trades that I marked out here. I would go over more trades, but I think those were the main 2 I wanted to talk about, was the one from Hydra and the one from Dodgy and the one from Camel. So I'm going to go through the trades that I marked out from today. I really loved this one. I know no one else really talked about this one. No one else even marked it out. But this is a really nice one setup for life, where we sweep out this low with SMT and we get this 30-second inversion right up to the data high. Really love that one. This one super, super clean, good break-even spot. Thought that was really good. This is another thing to note is accumulation, right? This is accumulation, manipulation. If you have conviction, because if you take the trade right as this SMT just barely forms, like if you get this inversion and it just barely has this SMT, you can get super high RR trades just because you have conviction, because the SMT has just barely formed. You're having conviction in the fact that you're basically getting the top end where this SMT is. And this right here, you can basically treat this as a void because this is a giant liquidity pool. So pay attention to where you're entering relative to the accumulation range. Even though this is an external gap, it's really acting as a void. And this was a really, really strong draw on liquidity. And then we deliver all the way down to go fill that overnight gap and tap that new day opening gap, which was the true draw on liquidity. So I thought that was cool. Once again, you could have taken this trade like Hydra did, but personally, I wasn't a big fan of it because there was a 3-minute external gap. And it's cool because we do expand accumulation, manipulation, distribution. We do expand all the way down to that 4th standard deviation. Once again, just showing how I would probably just take a profit at 1R. You can see this also was somewhat of a 2022 model. Now, I don't know. I probably wouldn't take this because stop loss is way too high, so it wouldn't make sense for me. A lot of people liked the trade TJR took, so we'll talk about that. We had a trade from TJR on the S&P, and it was actually really, really nice. you can see here. Sorry guys if I'm getting a little tired, but it is getting kind of late for me, so I'm getting a little tired. But I'm just working on making these better every single time. This was a nice trade because we sweep out these lows right here. Sweep, break of structure, right? We break above this high, and then we have a fair value gap right here. And it looks like he waits for a little bit of a reaction, but once we get the reaction, he enters. And apparently, he made $26,000 today. So TGR is locked in. Proud of you, bro. Good job. Good job. Goes to show TGR, he didn't just get here by not knowing what he's doing. He does know what he's doing, but sometimes he acts kind of crazy, and I don't know. He does know how to trade the 2022 model. I will say that. Anyway, like I was saying, it seemed like these were low resistance highs, but the real draw on liquidity was this new day opening gap. And once again, remember we were pushing up into that 4-hour change in state of delivery. Let's see. We have there's a lot more. That's mostly it for the morning. This was my favorite trade of the day by far. I mean, it's really hard to go wrong when you sweep out a low. I think this was the best trade of the day, where you sweep out a low with SMT and then get a 3-candle inversion. I mean, this doesn't usually fail, especially when it's very clear AMD with SMT, delivering from a BPR. So yeah, I liked all that. But the key is understanding that the higher time frame was bearish. If I zoom out, you can see we pretty clearly break this low here, and the market just very clearly was drawing to at least here and then lower. Let's talk about what happened later in the day. So we have this 15-minute fair value gap. This was around equilibrium. So if I measure this out, premium to discount, you can see, oh, this was not at equilibrium, but this was just barely in premium. And anytime you have a key level that's just chilling in premium, that's usually a pretty good key level to use for a flow state flow state trade. So 15-minute for value gap. Then we get a sweep of this high. So I'm just gonna pull it up from my screenshot. We get a sweep of that high all the way over off the screen. 1 minute change state of delivery. And I am personally just targeting 1R for these flow states, sometimes 2R. But you can see that this goes and hits all the standard deviations. So that's pretty cool. Retest of that change state of delivery. Retest again. And then we deliver lower. Let's see. Here you can see this was another 2022 model. We swept out this low, broke this high. We have a fair value gap at around equilibrium. Then we expand to these triple equal highs. And let's see. What else? But yeah, this was key to notice how this 6 a.m. candle closed, because going into 10 a.m. when this 6 a.m. candle closes, we can now anticipate, okay, accumulation, manipulation into the 4-hour change in state of delivery, and then distribution lower. And that's where a lot of people got caught offside, is because they didn't pay attention to where did this 4-hour change in state of delivery close, right? very clearly you're going against this higher time frame candle that closed bearish, and so we push up into it and distribute lower off of it. So I think that covers mostly everything. There were some trades from other people. Let's see. Oh, there's some more news. Apparently Patrick Weiland got a $349,000 payout. That's crazy. I don't know. I didn't even know you could get that in a single payout. That's like actually insane if that's true. And then apparently, guys, just so you know, Top Step have removed Trade-of-8 Ninja from their platform for good. If you're waiting for them to add it back, don't. So that sounds like it kind of sucks for you guys who use Top Step. And yeah, like I said, TGR up 26K on the day. Crazy. So he's locked in. And that covers mostly everything. Let me just scroll through all these here, these trades. And just make sure. So yeah, like I said, I'm just trying to take these targeting 1-to-1. I'm noting here you could do the same exact thing as the last trade with the 15-minute for value gap, but instead this is with a 1 hour for value gap and a 5-minute change state delivery, and we tap that first standard deviation. Oh, and this is so cool, yeah. Like I said, pushing up into that 4-hour change state delivery above our time levels here where we're anticipating manipulation, and then we distribute lower. And yeah, one last thing I'll talk about the trade I took and the lesson that I learned. So the trade I took, I'm not entirely sure I give it a post-trade approval, but I still want to talk about it. We had this 5-minute for value gap. And on the 30-second, so 5-minute aligns with the 30-second. We had SMT with this low. Something I will say is the SMTs work the best when it's with the low, like the low of the trade you're using. So like, I'm just saying, like, that's something that I've noticed is like I like it when the SMT, for instance, is with this exact low of this inversion here. But anyway, we had SMT. It was worth noting. And then essentially what I was thinking is 30-second change state delivery. And I was thinking, like I said, I'm not totally sure I approve of this trade in post, but you know what? It is what it is. I'm just going to talk about it. We had accumulation, right? Accumulation, manipulation with SMT into this 5-minute gap. So I tried this out as a flow state. And so 30-second change state delivery occurs here. And so I put stop loss at the low and I targeted 1R. And here's where I messed up. This was a good, you can see this would have hit TP. But I actually messed this up because if I measure out standard deviations here, you can see we only barely barely tap the first standard deviation. So when you take profit at the first standard deviation, a lot of time we will only tap that very, very beginning area. I accidentally put my take profit like there. And I went break even at this high, and I got stopped at break even. And I should have just taken profit all off right at the first standard deviation exactly. So, lesson learned. Also, guys, check out, we backtest OTE here. Once again, OTE of these flow state models, pretty crazy how we backtest it, right? So, anyway, I think that about covers it for this market recap. That was my trade. I feel like this would be better taken like this. But obviously I'm not taking those kinds of trades yet. I'm just trying to get better every single day, and we will with time. Oh, and the reason I wanted to target here was because, once again, huge accumulation range. Huge. So this was the draw on liquidity, and you could see we go run through it. So, anyway. Yep, like I said, that about covers it. I will see you guys in the next one, and when I'm live in the morning. So, if you made it to the end of this video, let me know in the comments. I'll see you later. Peace out.